My name is Chris GULLO, and I'm a native Houstonian. Is there any other native Houstonians in here at all? We got a few, all right.
Sort of, it's just, I guess.
St. Joseph's, I was born in. Oh, actually, I was
That
Herman.
was about the only one, there was only two.
Oh, Herman, I was in Herman, so you're St. Joseph's, okay. Oh, great. Well, anyway, we've had a lot of changes here in Houston in the last so many years, and I think John can attest to that a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Our local Supreme Builder. We have some really good stuff to talk about today, and so I want to talk about our guest speaker here. Actually, Terry and I go back a little bit, but he's from Austin, Texas. How many people know where Austin is? How many people like Austin area? Isn't that really cool? Really cool, rolling hills and all the lakes and everything. It's a place to have a life, you know? Well, Terry had this 5-acre tract up there with this beautiful home on it and everything. He goes, oh, well, it's no big deal. Really? Well, a lot of people like to have the 5 acres in Austin, Texas, you know? And he has a corporate background. So was in corporate America for a lot of years, and he might refer back to that. And he has, but what he really is a family person. He really likes his kids. And he has 3 of them.
And his wife.
And his wife. Well, I'm getting there.
There's one audience participation.
Yeah, we want audience participation. That's right.
Started with her.
Yeah, started with her, right?
So she needs mention.
That's it. Aaron, his wife, is a great person. By the way, him talk to you about Aaron, but yeah, it's really great. The reason I was bringing up his kids is that I was on the phone with him like 2-3 weeks ago, and I hear this, and all these kids running around in the background and everything. It's like, wow, that's kind of loud, you know? And he was just talking like there's no problem. And we went there, and then he goes, okay, guys, just kind of calm down. Everything's okay. And then he started talking. Okay, guys, just calm down. What do you need? Okay. And he goes over there and gives him something and comes back and just talks like. I said, boy, you're really into that scene thing. I mean, you know, that's really good. You're a great parent. You're calm, cool, and collective. Anyway, he has a whole story behind that. But I was kidding him one day about that. I said, can't you hear them? Oh, he has a great family, but what he really is, he likes to help people a lot, he's a former Distributor of the Year in Nikken'S, and has done absolutely unbelievable amounts of help for a lot of people, and has grown tremendously, and has a big organization. So I'd like to give a really warm welcome to Terry Latham, Diamond Shirt.
You know, it's, how many of y'all have kids?
Hey.
Well, I have 3. And I always said, I've got involved in Nikken'S, I've been at Nikken'S now, not just over 9 years. And I always said I got involved to be a dad. It shortens the story. I'll tell you a little bit more of my stories as we get going. But I come here to get away from my kids. My kids are 7, 4, and 2. And it's a great thing, man, having kids. And when Chris called me that one day and we were talking, and I remember when I first started Nikken'S and people have their kids run all around the house, I would get frustrated. Like, don't you see them? Can't you get those kids quiet or something? And I didn't say nothing, but I'm thinking, how can these parents, of course I always even hear my own kids, but I talked to Chris on the phone, and I know Chris didn't have any kids. I said, Chris, let me tell you, having children, especially mine are 7, 4, and 2. My little baby is, I could refer to him as Bam Bam. I always say if he was my first, he would have been my last. I got to stop saying that because you'll hear these recordings later. But I said, and some of you guys can give me an amen on this, but to have kids, you know, you look forward to all kids, I don't know if there's anything better. Say it's this, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. Challenging, all the above, but the most rewarding. And then sometimes you want to kick them through the door, you know. Sometimes you just want to hug them, but it's most rewarding. That's the best way I can describe being a dad for me. My background, I come from corporate sales, sold software, all this kind of stuff. I had a degree in sports medicine, really exercise sports physiology. Why? It was the quickest way out of school. So some people, they tell you that you need a degree to get a job, and that was a lot true to be the case, but you don't need a degree to make money. I knew when I was in 6th grade, this is a funny thing, I was in 3rd or 4th grade, riding in the back of my dad's truck. We lived in a small town in Hamilton, Texas, of 2,600 people. Got done with a baseball game, and I remember sitting in the back of the truck. Back in the day, you go ride in the back of the truck. I remember back there, and I had school the next day, and I said, I don't need this. I remember thinking to myself, I mean, at that age, I don't need this. I started thinking like an entrepreneur. They're not teaching me the things I need to know. How many of y'all ever thought that way? Because they kept teaching me stuff that they wanted to teach me, and they kept around. And I said, why do I need to know this? Nobody could ever get that, because you just need to know it. And you know, I've got some people right now that are going to the McCombs Business School, University of Texas, one of the top business schools in the country, and they're teaching them on yesterday's material, on the way that money works. Because I've got something I just started. I said, okay, let me think. Now y'all think about it, especially the guys who are just, you're getting ready to work a career, you're working a career, and you might be fearful. So as you start to understand and to check out Nikken's today, do this one thing. I want you to think right now, what are 5 companies you would like to work for? Think of 5 companies you would like to work for. And you can tell me later one. Tell me a few companies you would like to start, and compare that to what you're about to see. Because when I first saw Nikken's, it took me 14 months to even look at this thing. Because my wife and I were part owners of a software company. We got in front of a wave. We knew that where we were going. We were making money. I mean, I graduated from college. I was 216 pounds. My resume weight, or my earning money, was 250. I was stressed out. I mean, just over the top stress. I never was home. And Chris, you can attest. I mean, all this kind of stuff. And a lot of you guys have been there. And isn't it funny the way you were taught how to earn money? The more money you make, the less time you have. And it's also, the more money you make, it's kind of, we always make fun of, and I remember when I first came out, I'll get into Nikken's in a second. I remember my first desk. I graduated from school, my first job offer was for $7 an hour. I have a degree, I want a salary. Call it what you want, I want a salary. Now I got $7 an hour. Must have been from Texas, I went to Texas Tech, that might have been the case. And I remember my first desk was connected to other desks. I didn't care, in a wall between it. I could say all this kind of, I remember how it started happening. It's kind of funny what we call or refer to as success. But that's where I basically was. So when Nikken's come knocking on my door, I had no idea. I had no clue. I've been approached by other things in the past. I had no idea where this is basically going. So I want to give you some of the rundown, and we'll see which presentation he put up. Oh. And he told me how to click it. Okay, I'll do this one. My job today is to give you a tour of this company. I'm going to fan through some of these slides. You're going to try to follow me. Some of you guys say, I don't know what he just said. I know he's fired up. That's what I remember when I first got involved. I want to give you a rundown of the company. And I want y'all to understand the thing. For those of y'all who are consultants, okay, and for those of y'all who are new, you'll never see anything as big as what you're about to see. My job is to have you understand one clear thing. You can do this. You can do this. The facts and the numbers are all there. You just have to have a dream. You just have to have a want to. Okay? Nobody's going to make you do anything. Now, if you want somebody to make you do something, that's the world you want to go back to, the corporate world. But here's another fact for you. They say by year 2017, 61% of the people will be contract for hire. What does that tell you? Y'all remember the 80-20 rule? Have y'all ever worked a job where somebody sitting next to you was not pulling their weight and you're doing all the work? Oh, yeah. But they get paid the same amount or even more? Yeah. That's gone.
Contract nurses.
Yeah, that world's gone. The free ride is gone. So you can, like I said, as I start to give it this is the first time I've seen this presentation. So you guys can do the same thing I'm doing. Wellness, what is it? Wellness is generally understood to mean healthy, balance of mind and spirit that results in an overall feeling of well-being. In other words, wellness is a view of health that emphasizes the state of the entire being
healthy mind, body, family, spiritual, society, and even finance all play a part. How many